the photographers miss the moment when Kanye broke a smile?
No, they did not. That did.
When the lights flash and the cameras roll, celebrities rehearse perfection. But every so often, the carpet turns against them. Every award season promises glamour, spotless gowns, practiced smiles, flawless timing. Yet under that glitter lies something raw, panic, ego, and the split second where control slips away. Because the red carpet doesn't just capture fame, it exposes it. The fall that fooled the internet, Jason Derulo. It started with a photo, blurred motion, white suit, limbs midair on a staircase that looked too grand to be real. Within minutes, Twitter decided the mystery man was Jason Derulo. The caption was simple: Jason Derulo falls down the Met Gala stairs. It spread like wildfire. Headlines, memes, late-night jokes. Even Derulo's grandmother called to check if he'd survived the plunge. But the truth? He wasn't even there. The photo came from Cannes 4 years earlier. A stranger had tripped, not a pop star. Yet, by the time fact caught up, the fiction had already cemented itself. Derulo laughed it off. I was in LA rehearsing, but the internet didn't care. The fall had gone viral because it fit the narrative. The glamorous man brought low, tumbling down the temple stairs of fashion. It was the perfect illusion, a reminder that on the red carpet, what matters isn't what's true. It's what looks true for half a second. The Swan, that broke Hollywood. When Björk stepped onto the Oscars red carpet in 2001, the world didn't quite know what it was seeing. A swan, not a metaphorical one, a literal swan, wrapped around her body like it had crash-landed in a fashion show. Its long neck curved gracefully around her, its beak resting near her shoulder. People laughed, whispered, stared. Some thought it was performance art. Others thought she'd lost her mind. But Björk? She floated through the chaos, dropping eggs one by one as if she'd just wandered in from another universe. In a sea of diamonds and designer names, she was the glitch in the Matrix. Proof that art can be both beautiful and absurd at once. Critics mocked her. Tabloids had a field day, and yet years later, fashion historians would call that same moment revolutionary. That's the strange thing about the red carpet. Today's disaster can become tomorrow's masterpiece. And Björk's Swan didn't just ruffle feathers. It made them fashionable. When chemistry became chaos, Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac, it was supposed to be a quiet premiere. Two respected actors promoting a TV series about a failing marriage. Instead, it became one of the most dissected videos on the internet. Jessica Chastain, Oscar Isaac, they walk the Venice red carpet, glowing in the evening light. Cameras flash, and then it happens. He looks at her hand like it's something sacred. She glances up. His lips brush her arm. Slow, deliberate, electric. The clip lasts maybe 10 seconds. But in that time, a million stories are born. Were they lovers? Was it scripted? Was it real? Fans paused and replayed it frame by frame. Every smile, every breath, every millisecond of tension between them. They called it passion, chemistry, even betrayal. But off camera, both actors were happily married to other people. What the world mistook for romance was really something else. Two performers locked in character for just a little too long. Still, that look, the one that felt unscripted, burned itself into internet memory. Proof that the red carpet doesn't need scandal to spark obsession. Sometimes, all it takes is an accidental heartbeat too real to fake. The handcuff incident nobody saw coming. Hugh Grant. For a man who built a career playing charming leads, Hugh Grant found himself trapped in a scene no romantic comedy could have scripted. It happened on the red carpet in Amsterdam. A journalist approached him, microphone in one hand, something shiny in the other. Before anyone could react, the click echoed through the crowd. A pair of metal cuffs locked her wrist to his. The cameras went silent for a split second, then exploded in flashes. Grant stood frozen, confusion etched across his face. The reporter smiled too calmly and refused to let go. For 10 long minutes, they were bound together. The crowd whispered. Security hesitated. The fire department was called. When they were finally separated, the woman was escorted away, still shouting about love and destiny. Grant laughed it off later, the kind of nervous laughter that hides disbelief. "I've suffered for my art," he joked. "Now I'm suffering for my fans." But behind the grin, something else lingered. The realization that fame invites affection, obsession, and everything in between. On the red carpet, admiration can turn into captivity in the blink of a flash. When Jim Carrey rejected reality, it wasn't a movie set. It wasn't a sketch. It was New York Fashion Week, and Jim Carrey decided to break the simulation.
It's not our world.
None
That's
of this is
key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through?
matter. We don't matter.
Oh, wow.
There's the good news.
When news reporter Kat Sadler spotted him, she expected a routine soundbite. A few jokes, a few smiles. Instead, he circled her like prey in a slow, existential dance. "There's no meaning to any of this," he said. "None of us exist." Sadler tried to play along, asked about fashion, about icons, about inspiration. Carrey stared into the camera and shrugged. "I wanted to find the most meaningless thing I could attend, and here I am." Was it a performance? A meltdown? A joke too smart for the moment? No one could tell. The clip went viral, dissected by fans and philosophers alike. Some said he was mocking celebrity culture. Others swore he was unraveling in real time. But maybe that was the point. In a world obsessed with appearances, Carrey had stripped the red carpet of illusion, reminding everyone that beneath the tuxedos and glitter, none of it truly matters. Blood, love, and the unspoken obsession, Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton. Before Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly made blood romance a TikTok aesthetic, there was Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton. Hollywood's strangest love story bottled up in glass. They walked red carpets like a storm front, tangled hands, lingering kisses, eyes locked like the rest of the world had disappeared. And around their necks, tiny vials of each other's blood. It wasn't a prop. It wasn't PR. It was exactly what it looked like, a love so intense it needed proof. Something physical to mark the bond. Fans were fascinated. Critics were horrified. Reporters couldn't decide if it was gothic devotion or straight-up madness. Years later, Thornton would explain it almost casually. "We just smeared a little blood on these lockets to feel close when we were apart." But even he couldn't deny what it looked like from the outside. Two people trying to immortalize love in a way no one else would dare. It's a perfect example of how the red carpet can turn intimacy into spectacle. A private gesture, suddenly eternalized under the harshest lights in the world. The fall that wasn't an accident, Amy Schumer, Kim Kardashian, and Kanye West. For most people, tripping in front of cameras is a nightmare. For Amy Schumer, it was the punchline she couldn't resist. At the Time 100 Gala in 2015, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West arrived like royalty, flawless, untouchable, perfectly choreographed. And then, out of nowhere, Amy hit the floor right in front of them. Face down, dress sprawled, flashbulbs exploding. The crowd gasped. Kim blinked. Kanye didn't move an inch. It wasn't a stunt gone wrong. It was a joke gone perfectly right. Schumer later admitted she wanted to make a moment, and she did. But what made it unforgettable wasn't the fall itself. It was the stillness afterward. Kim's icy stare, Kanye's indifference, the silence that said, "You don't belong here." Two worlds collided on that carpet, comedy and control. And for one glorious second, chaos won. When innocence slipped out of his pocket, Zac Efron. It was supposed to be a wholesome premiere, bright colors, family crowds, cameras filled with smiles. But for Zac Efron, the Lorax red carpet became something else entirely. As he reached into his pocket to hand an assistant a few small items, one of them slipped free and hit the ground. Not money, not keys, a condom. The cameras didn't miss it. They never do. Efron froze for half a second, eyes wide, face red before trying to laugh it off. The internet did the rest. slow motion clips, memes, endless accident jokes. Later, he laughed too. "Guess I should have checked my pockets," he said. But the truth was simple. The world had just watched a symbol of adulthood fall onto a children's movie carpet. It was awkward, human, and weirdly refreshing. Because for once, a Hollywood heartthrob wasn't perfect. He was just a guy caught in a moment too real to rehearse. The slap before the slap, Will Smith. Before the Oscars slap that echoed through 2022, there was another, smaller, stranger, and just as unforgettable. Years earlier, on a red carpet overseas, Will Smith was doing what he'd done 1,000 times before, greeting fans, posing for photos, answering questions. Then came a man with a microphone, a self-proclaimed journalist, asking for a hug. Smith smiled, stepped forward, and the man kissed him, right on the cheek. The crowd gasped. Smith's smile vanished. Instinct took over, a quick, reflexive slap. Not cruel, not violent, but sharp enough to send a message. Don't cross that line. Cameras captured every second. Within hours, the clip was everywhere. People debated whether it was justified, rude, heroic, or funny. But Smith's face said it all. That moment when a red carpet meant for celebration turns into a test of boundaries. Even then, years before the world's most famous awards night slap, you could see the tension in his eyes. A man who wanted to keep control, but couldn't stop the world from pushing closer. The kiss that froze the room, John Travolta. By the time John Travolta stepped onto the Oscars red carpet in 2015, his reputation had already been through the ringer. He'd mispronounced Idina Menzel's name the year before, a small mistake that became a global punchline. This time, he was determined to play it safe. But Hollywood has a way of turning comfort into chaos. As Scarlett Johansson posed for photos, Travolta approached from the side, smiling, confident, friendly. And then, without warning, he leaned in, his arm wrapped around her waist. His lips brushed her cheek. The flashbulbs went off like lightning. For a heartbeat, the world stood still. Scarlett's face, unreadable, polite, maybe even frozen, became the center of a global debate. Was she caught off guard? Was it affection? Was it something else entirely? Travolta insisted it was harmless, and Johansson herself later defended him, calling the moment misconstrued. But by then, the photo had already gone viral, an image of forced intimacy that felt uncomfortably familiar. Because in that single frame, you could see everything the red carpet really is. A place where performance and reality blur until no one remembers which is which. And maybe that's the point. Maybe that's why we keep watching. We tune in for the gowns and the glamour, but we stay for the moments that break the illusion. A trip that wasn't real. A dress that became legend. A look that started rumors. A kiss that stopped time. The red carpet has never been about perfection. It's about the cracks, the fleeting seconds when even the brightest stars forget they're being watched, and the world catches something real. Because no matter how scripted it looks, the truth is this: the best moments in Hollywood are the ones nobody planned.